Welcome back to Naturally Speaking. I'm your host, Dr. Kerith Powell, chiropractor at Dr. Chris's Natural Remedies. And I'm joined by Dr. Crescinda Morgan, naturopath at Dr. Chris's Natural Remedies. This show highlights some interesting people that are doing interesting things in our community. And I know I speak for Dr. Morgan when I say that we are grateful that you're spending your time with us.
We work together to bring content that we know you'll enjoy and benefit from. That's the most important thing. So if there's something special you're looking for, you want us to do, you need to let us know. You can find out how to reach us by watching to the end of this show, get the information, get the website and such. But right now, let's get on with the show.
Welcome to Naturally Speaking, brought to you by Dr. Chris's Natural Remedies and BR Media Solutions. Today we'll be joined by Dr. Awais, the president of the Georgia Council of Chiropractic. And so I'm really excited to get on with the show.
Awesome.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. We have today Dr. Awais, 2012 Georgia Chiropractor of the Year, current president of the GCC, Georgia Council on Chiropractic. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, so tell me a little bit about the Georgia Council of Chiropractic, how you got involved, how you became the president, what is the focus of the group?
Sure. Let's start with how I got involved. I never wanted to get into politics. I think it's still kind of, just to me, it just seems not that exciting of a field to go into. Mm-hmm. But I remember one of my mentors, even in school, he said, as soon as you have a license, you're pretty much in politics. So, I was just around the right people, and they started taking me to council meetings. The Georgia Chiropractic Council, the whole purpose of their organization is to make sure that the chiropractors are educated properly. So as patients are walking into their doctor's office, you have a competent doctor that's doing what the patient needs. Mm-hmm. That's something that we take a lot of pride in. We do a lot of continuing education for our doctors, just so when a patient walks in, we want them to receive the best care ever. And so we want to train the best doctors. And the GCC has done that for a decade plus. So that's one of our focus. Another one of our focuses to let the population know, let the citizens of Georgia know that they need to be under chiropractic care if they want to experience a life at a higher level. And so there's different avenues that we're taking to help do that. But it's just a great organization. I mean, our goal is that here's a profession, the chiropractic profession, something that's the only profession right now for over 100 years that's been drugless. And we've helped a lot of people during this time, and we want to make sure that continues.
Okay, fantastic. I know one of the things that the organization has done is bring subluxation to the Golden Dome downtown.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was very pleased to be invited to come and celebrate that with you all. And so I commend you on the efforts and all the work that you have put in, and your colleagues as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're just a great person. Every colleague that I talk to who knows you says the same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I just want to know since you've been in practice, over 10 years out in Douglasville.
Yep.
What have some of just give us a little history of what it was like for you to start out, and how do you feel like you were accepted into the community? How did you become the chiropractor of the year?
Sure. It was almost sad to share this, but walking into the chiropractor's office, I heard so much information that was negative that I was extremely skeptical walking in. But like so many people walking into a chiropractor's office, it was like a last resort situation. And the doc that was there, he was explaining to me what was going on, and even though it all made sense, there was just this little voice in the back of my head, like just too skeptical. And looking back at it, I just think that was not, why did that happen? Mm-hmm. It should have been a smooth transition as opposed to this antagonist thing that I was supposedly doing. But I walk in the chiropractor's office. He explained to me where the subluxation, a misalignment in the spine was. It was fairly obvious to me that was happening. And of course, he started getting adjusted, and had amazing results. And to me, that bothered me. That here's a simple solution that we all should have access to. Yes, almost like taboo in the community, and that really bothered me. And when I was going to the school, it was the same thing. It just it really puts a fire under me that here's something that we can give our citizens that's going to elevate their life and their health, and yet it's almost like it's not talked about. So that's where my passion comes from in practice, and like just going into the town and serving our people and serving you're just welcomed by it.
Yes.
And people are looking for it. It's amazing that how many people, and I know, Doc, you experience this too.
I do.
People come in, and it's sad because we shouldn't be the last resort. We are the most conservative in the whole healthcare profession. The least negative thing is going to happen is maybe from a chiropractic experience. It's only going to be a positive experience.
Sure.
So it just that's what drives me.
Well, I'm so glad you put it that way. And I can tell that you've been doing this a long time. And I know you've motivated a lot of chiropractors to be bolder about the health, the type of practice that they have, regardless of the technique or their location or any of those other obstacles that they might think that could be obstacles to someone who has not ever been under chiropractic care. And you make it a much smoother transition. And what I would really like for you to discuss a bit right now, though, is the part where the patient, with the new models of health insurance, let's just say, where deductibles, some procedures that chiropractors may use aren't necessarily covered fully by insurance. What options do patients have for affording the care?
Sure. It's a great question. I relate, my father was a mechanic. I kind of grew up around cars getting fixed and, maintenance work and things like that. So it always made sense to me that it's better to maintain my car than end up on the side of the road. That just sat well with me. So, and this is what chiropractic is talking about. We have patients every day that calling in, having questions about their insurance. And at this point, chiropractic is accepted by most insurance plans to a certain degree. But what people have to realize is that just like your car insurance, you have to, in the state of Georgia, it's illegal to not have insurance. You have to have it. But the only reason you're really supposed to have car insurance is in case of an accident to happen. Your car insurance will never pay for the oil change, which hopefully both of us are doing, right? We need to make sure that the oil change is up and make sure the tune-up is up. And your insurance is never going to pay for that. And what's amazing is I kind of even joke around, but nobody ever went to my dad's shop and said, hey, can you take my car insurance to pay for this oil change? Like, it's not even a concept. But population today, we're so used to associating our health coming out of our insurance, we're expecting it to pay for it. And again, chiropractic care is accepted under insurance more than ever before. But what people have to realize is insurance is where when you're in crisis. Chiropractic is making sure that you're avoiding crisis. So it's almost, it doesn't really truly match, especially if you're utilizing chiropractic for its right reason, which is to increase your health and increase the way your body functions.
Yes. Okay. Well, I like the way you put that.
Thank you.
And that makes a whole lot of sense to me as a person who enjoys driving.
Right.
But thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Absolutely.
And I hope that you'd come back and enlighten us some more. Whenever you have something new, why don't you tell us the website to the Georgia Council of Chiropractic, where
Absolutely.
people can, go and get some information about chiropractors in their area that have been trained.
Sure.
And maybe even let us know where we can get information about the Subluxation Awareness Month in the state of Georgia.
Absolutely. The association's website is georgiachiropractic.org. So the biggest thing that a person can do is you can go on the website and there's a link to find yourself a chiropractor that's closest to you. Now, when you're dealing with a chiropractor that's a GCC chiropractor, we're creating elite doctors. That's what the whole goal of the association is, that we don't want mediocre doctors. We want doctors that are on top of their field. And so when you're going on this website and looking up the doc most close to you, be assured that you're going to somebody who's not only put in the training to get their license, but is constantly training themselves to be the best they can be. So again, the website is georgiachiropractic.org. If you're looking for a chiropractor, that's a great resource that you can use to find somebody that's great and hopefully near where you live.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I appreciate having me. Thank you.
I appreciate it. And we'll be right back.
Okay, so welcome back. We're going to talk about essential fatty acids again, and we're going to talk about how they play a large role in metabolism. So that means basically how you take in food and what your body does with it and where it goes. So metabolism, we think of what? Cholesterol.
Okay.
Yeah, we think of cholesterol. We're always, we're told in our society, oh, your cholesterol, your triglycerides, and all these crazy words. And what does that mean? It means you're not putting your fat where it's supposed to go and it's getting stuck places. So we have to have things that are going to work to take the inflammations of those collections down, break them apart. So part of that is enzymes, and we want to talk about enzymes for just a quick second, because enzymes basically are like little teeth. They're breaking things down. It's part of your metabolism. You make them in your saliva, and therefore there they go. So the fat you have coming in,
okay,
it can be obviously it could be healthy fats. It could be not healthy fats.
okay,
So we're eating potato chips, and that's going to be a little unhealthy. Or we're eating maybe salmon for dinner. Okay, it's a healthy fat. Peanuts, healthy fat. Healthy fat.
I heard olive oil is a healthy fat.
Yeah, especially if you're looking at, you want to sort of fry food a little bit. If you're going to be frying some food, you want to do that with some olive oil, coconut oil, things like that are not going to be the fatty oils like the animal fats and things like that. Yeah. What else? Oh, I was going to mention, you can use hemp oil and you can use walnut oil.
Those are good.
Yeah, they're harder to find, but this is where we're going now, because we're trying to figure out ways with our grocery habits and where we're shopping, and how can we better make better choices on what we've got to offer at the store. So that would help.
Okay.
So the fat coming in has to be put somewhere, and in our society, obviously, we have all this talk about cholesterol, and our gallbladders are being taken out every 2 seconds. So the gallbladder breaks down your fat. So that's one thing. Your liver is largely involved in cholesterol management. So liver is also a detoxing organ. So we've got all these processes happening in that part of the body. So when you picture your circulatory tract from A to Z, top to bottom, you're thinking about vessels and arteries and all this good stuff, all where the blood flows. When we hear about buildup in those vessels, that's what we're talking about when we say cholesterol. It's a plaque, it's a fat. Like if you are using coconut oil and you melt it, it turns liquid. It goes back to room temperature if you take it off the heat. Same thing with fats.
Okay.
So the healthy fats can morph into that fashion, okay. The unhealthy fats are going to eventually keep clogging up that water hose, okay? It's like a kink in the hose a little bit. We end up with those big broad terms like arteriosclerosis, and whatnot. So let's talk about the common issues with metabolic breakdown with the gallbladder. I was just mentioning that the gallbladder breaks down the fat.
Right.
Well, we have people with these gallstones and inflammations that deal with their metabolism in that way. So if they get it taken out because it's greatly inflamed, well, what else is going to do the job of the gallbladder but the gallbladder? So if you don't have it, you're going to have something in there to help that out. I'm not saying an essential fatty acid is going to replace the gallbladder, but there are things you need to implement that the essential fatty acids can help to get that gallbladder function to do what it needs to be doing.
I see.
The thyroid's another thing, and that's a whole kind of other topic, hormonal topic. However, I have to mention it because the thyroid is your chief metabolic determiner. It's the gland that decides, hey, you're going to metabolize, where's it going to go? And it's going to greatly get involved and produce these hormones to regulate the system. So essential fatty acids are extremely helpful in managing what these fats are going to do. So when it comes to the enzymes, the irregular valves that we have going on take the enzymes we normally get from our saliva and our food, and even if we supplement with enzymes to help break down that food, and say we got a good gallbladder and it's doing its job. But when there are issues of cholesterol buildup and irregular fat, bad fat buildup, we're basically robbing the enzymes from where they're supposed to be going.
Okay.
So one thing can beget another in that case.
Okay.
So essential fatty acids, as far as a lump sum way to explain it, essential
Right.
fatty acids in this case will take the inflammation from that infiltration of lipids
Yes.
in the wall of that vessel and just control that, bring that
Control
down.
it, okay.
Yeah. So even though we don't really consider it an inflammatory status, it really still is. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Now, what would be the purpose of someone just supplementing with the essential fatty acids if what you're saying is that the gallbladder is breaking down the fatty acids or breaking down the lipids, the fats that we consume? You know, I mean, is it because we're eating bad fats, or is it that the gallbladder is getting overwhelmed?
Both.
Yeah. Okay. So for the normal person, not when I say normal, the relatively healthy person, the person who is not in distress, and they're making choices about how to live longer, be around for their children, you know, see their daughter get married and so on. And they're making choices at the restaurant on a regular basis on how to eat. What kind of foods should they be looking for, or condiments to put on the foods that they have so that they can enjoy their food as well as, you know, enjoy their life and maintain their health?
Well, one of the things that we really must do is look at a primitive way of eating. We can't just sauce and gravy everything up, because that's where we get a lot of our fat content. That being said, most of the women folk are going to get salads, and these big salads, and that's great, and it's going to have their protein and lots of other, maybe some nuts, some sunflower seeds, things that are the nuts and seeds that we need for healthy essential fatty acids. But we're also over there grabbing that salad dressing bottle. This is a problem. So unless you're going to go with a, you know, more of a lower fat contented salad dressing, you're stuck with this salad dressing that's going to be very high in fat.
All right.
So diet is everything in that respect. When you're out to eat and you're going to get a big salad, you're going to have to go with the light salad dressing. You're going to have to watch the gravies and the glaze that is put on things.
Okay.
You also don't know what they were cooking in the back. Are they deep frying it? And if they are, with what? Is it peanut oil or is it vegetable oil? And then how old is the oil? We're talking about old. So we could be really dealing with a lot of issue with just that alone.
I see.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand. Okay. So just as a general rule, in the kitchen at my house, we have olive oil, we have a vegetable oil, and we'll typically have a coconut oil somewhere, and we use them for different things, sometimes to spread, sometimes to cook, sometimes to line, you know. And do you think that that's enough, or should we be supplementing still, even with the kids, maybe putting some drops in their food?
I think it's a good idea in general, because as we see every decade go by, we're seeing issues with limited availability in what food sources we're buying at the store. So what you're getting at the store, even if you're trying to buy fresh fish and you know, fresh meats and things, fresh vegetables, you're still not really sure if you're getting mature fruits and vegetables. So when you really want to scale back on those oils and fats, you have to look at a very minimalistic, you know, a frame of mind.
So you're talking about the broader scope of the food itself. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, in the next episode, we're going to discuss how essential fatty acids affect mood. They can affect focus, and they can affect development.
Yes.
Yeah. So you definitely want to be back for that. Dr. Morgan and her wealth of knowledge and information concerning this topic, and you can tell that she's passionate about it. She cares about you, and if you're interested in seeing her, you should give us a call.